Welcome to Bro Awaken. Today we'll be reacting to America's first B-21 Raider the whole world is afraid of. So let's get on with it.
The bomber fleet has been a cornerstone of this nation's air power, and tonight we roll out the next generation of capability. We prepare to unveil the most capable stealth bomber ever built. This next generation aircraft defines what this nation is capable of in technology for national defense.
So advancement.
Digitally designed, enabled, and maintained, the B-21 Raider represents a view into the future and brings it to the here and now.
7 years to build. 25 plus years of dominance. $630 million bomber.
Beef. It's a lot of money as well.
Meet the first B-21 Raider the whole world is afraid of. Bombers race is brewing between the U.S. and China. In a move that would put the U.S. ahead in the race, the first B-21 Raider has finally been unveiled after 7 years of development. However, for China, this is far from game over. Like the U.S., China is working on a brand new bomber with a similar flying wing design as the B-2 Spirit. This new Chinese bomber is known as the Xi'an H-20. This is only another testament to how well China has managed to stay side by side with the U.S. in the bomber space, despite the U.S. having 25 years of bomber dominance through the $2 billion B-2 Spirit.
The B-2 Spirit looks more like a Falcon shape, right?
Which one?
The B-2 Spirit is not that big.
However, even during this time of B-2 dominance, China has developed its most advanced bomber yet in an attempt to stand its ground against the B-2. This bomber is now known as the H-6, developed from Russia's Tu-16 Badger. This latest stare down between...
That one is a supersonic plane, right? It's a supersonic plane more than a stealth plane, the Russian one.
Yes, more speed.
Yeah, I do not know about the B-21 if it's fast enough, but this is more into stealth, right? Russians don't have that. I don't think any other countries have a stealth plane yet. Just now they showed the Chinese one they had. So let's see.
Have they built that
two bombers
The Chinese one. Is it already built?
That's what they say. We really don't know. We haven't seen. But America is totally different, right? They just show it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They flex it, man. They show superiority.
Yeah, not really.
They say and they deliver.
Exactly.
began when 8 B-2s took an elephant walk at the culmination of the recent Spirit Vigilance 22 training exercise in November. China, unwilling to ignore a stare down, launched an elephant walk of its own, involving 8 H-6 bombers. That was the latest move in the bomber race between the world powers until the unveiling at the Northrop Grumman facility that introduced the world to America's most lethal bomber, the $630 million B-21 Raider.
This $630 million for like a piece, or was it just for research alone? I don't know. Just a piece.
Not really sure. Could be a piece.
But maybe this is the. I'm looking at the shape. It looks like a UFO, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It does look like a UFO.
And people might be thinking this is the one in the sky. Probably. I don't know. I mean, if you take those wheels out there, it looks like those spacecraft, right? The disc shape.
Yeah, exactly.
From this view.
The B-21 Raider. The B-21 Raider is the world's first sixth-generation aircraft. The bomber equivalent of the sixth-generation NGAD fighter under development and born of the B-2 Spirit, the B-21 is designed as an optionally manned bomber that's the lead of a larger family of systems for long-range strikes, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, and electronic warfare.
That's crazy.
The program that would birth the B-21 began in 2011, but it would take 4 years to select a contractor from a heated battle between a Boeing Lockheed Martin team and Northrop Grumman. Northrop Grumman, with decades of stealth bomber experience from the B-2, won the contract to develop the B-21 by offering the most economical costs for the capabilities requested by the Air Force. Cost is a crucial point to consider when developing stealth bombers. This was a lesson learned from the B-2, with a cost per unit aircraft similar to the GDPs of some countries. To build the B-21 to requirements with economical costs, Northrop Grumman teamed up with 400 suppliers across 40 states, all operating continuously for the past 7 years, even during the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. Of these suppliers are 7 of the world's most reputable companies as
So they
Tier
started
1
building this
suppliers
during
of
the
the
pandemic.
program.
They started building this during the pandemic.
Yeah, they continued it.
Oh.
These include renowned jet engine manufacturer Pratt & Whitney, the largest defense contractor in Europe, BAE Systems,
How they
the
build
world's
planes.
largest first-tier aerostructures manufacturer, Spirit AeroSystems, Northrop Grumman's orbital ATK, Rockwell Collins, GKN Aerospace, and Janicki Industries. All these companies,
companies
led by
are
Northrop
involved.
Grumman, developed the B-21 into a $630 million bomber with capabilities never seen before. This makes
That's
the
just
B-21
crazy.
Raider about 68% less costly than the B-2, while being
So it's 68% less costly than the B2.
significantly more capable. Although the B-21 had 2+ decades of technological advancement on its side, this remains a military aviation wonder. Lethal as they like, the Air Force plans to acquire a minimum of 100 B-21s, with the possibility of going as high as 145 units if the bomber can pass its tests in flying colors. Almost literally. Once introduced into service, the B-21 will initially work alongside other strategic bombers in the U.S. fleet, including the B-52 Stratofortress, the B-1 Lancer, and the B-2 Spirit, before eventually replacing both the B-1 Lancer and the B-2, marking the end of the B-2 dominance, or maybe a glorious continuation of it in another skin. Either way, the U.S. would have a bomber that would project the might of the U.S. military across every corner of the globe, with the operational...
So they want to build so many, man.
Yeah, it's a lot actually.
Actually, it's a good strategy because they can just place it into allying countries, right?
Yep.
And they
do
can
that
just
as
fly it off there, from there to the enemy territory.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a lot of money, man, they have. It just shows how superior the American economy is. I mean, America is already protected from its geographical standpoint as well, but look, they're even going further to place these bombers in strategic places.
Yeah,
They can carry out, this is just not a bomber, right? This is also a surveillance system, right?
yeah.
It can do so many other things and can take different types of payload. Interesting stuff though, it's crazy engineering.
range
How
of a
much is
ship
the thing?
and the
600 something million, right?
Yeah.
firepower of nuclear weapons. This is what China is up against this time, and their next move in the bomber race could only come from their new Xi'an H-20 bomber, and the country probably knows this. In fact, the renderings of H-20 came about the same time as those of the B-21. To know how good an equal of the H-20 would be, it would have to go head-to-head against the B-21. Finally, B-21 versus H-20.
What do you think? B-21, H-21? I mean H-20.
Well, what's your take on this one first? What do you
I'm
think?
going all the way with the B-21.
B-21.
Looks more like a duplicate, man.
So, yeah, kind of, but not exactly. The color is different, and design is just a bit off as well.
Yeah, slightly off.
Yeah, slightly off. B-21 for sure, though.
The American B-21 against the Chinese H-20. One of these is the most powerful, most advanced bomber ever developed. Which would wear the crown boils down to 3 main categories: stealth, avionics, and armament. Stealth. The B-21 will be built from the ground up as a stealth aircraft, drawing from the stealth experience of the B-2. Alignment of edges, serrated skin panels, masking of the engine with fiber mat skin, and an overall flying wing shape are only some of what to expect. The B-21, like the B-2, will also likely be painted in anti-reflective paint to
So they are using this anti-reflective paint and these shapes and all to just to avoid the radar. I'm still confused, like how can they, there should be a counter, right?
Yeah, there should be, but
I mean,
don't know
if
if they
it's,
figured
I mean,
it
like the sound it makes or something. No, you can't
Yeah,
do
you
because
can't.
it's in the air, right?
Yeah,
so
it's in
that's
the
also
air.
difficult.
Yeah, that's also.
Maybe some different kind of detection system, maybe infrared or something else.
I mean, it's too fast, right, for it to detect. There should be another way. I don't know.
Maybe if it's from the side of this, maybe from the top and bottom, it could. Or maybe they can have a snapshot from a satellite and they can see some anomaly happening, sudden movements. Maybe AI or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it could help. If
Maybe
it's detect and like slow down also at the same time, then it'll be easier for it to
reduce optical visibility during daylight flights. The undersides will be dark because it flies at high altitudes, over 50,000 feet up.
Wow.
And at that altitude, a dark painting blends perfectly into the sky.
really high.
To ensure it always blends with the sky, an upward-facing light sensor will be on board the B-21 to alert the pilot to increase or reduce altitude to match the changing illuminance of the sky. To maintain the stealth features of these flying wing aircraft, they could be stored in specialized air-conditioned hangars that cost at least $5 million.
$5 million just a story.
Yeah. It's a lot of money,
The
man.
Chinese H-20 also has a flying wing design and, like the Chinese J-20 fighter, would employ a holistic approach to reduce its radar cross
This looks freaking Halo, like futuristic stuff going on here, man.
Yeah, it is actually.
You never thought we would see this day,
section.
We're
The
getting
chimed
there.
forebody, modified radar radome, and electroconductive canopy will be shaped to yield a signature performance. Serpentine ducts, a flat fuselage bottom, and sawtooth edges would also come into play for the bomber. But the experience of the Americans in stealth with both the B-2 and the F-35 can hardly be matched anytime soon. After all, F-35 has a radar cross-section tinier than that of a metal golf ball. The B-2 Spirit is
yeah.
currently the stealthiest
Crazy.
aircraft in history, and the B-21 is fitting to be stealthier than both of them.
Whoa.
Yeah, that is crazy.
What was it? Radar cross section even tinier than a golf ball.
Golf ball, yeah.
Avionics. To make the B-21 more decisive than previous bombers, the aircraft will feature many advanced and modern avionics systems that form a single integrated system. Some of these systems include a multi-mode radar, a fully digital navigation system integrated with terrain-following radar and GPS guidance, an astro-inertial navigation system to navigate using orbiting bodies in space, an AESA radar, an electronic warfare system, a distributed aperture
yeah.
system, an electro-optical targeting system, among others. Link 16 and a
wow.
high-frequency satellite link are used for battlefield communications, and a defensive management system to inform the flight crew of possible threats and allow changes to the auto router's mission planning information while in flight, so it can receive new data quickly to plan a route that minimizes exposure to the discovered dangers for members of the fleet. This makes the B-21 a central point in the sensor fusion system and therefore enables the bomber to be an effective battle manager. For safety and fault detection purposes, an onboard test system will be linked with the majority of avionics on the B-21 to continuously monitor the performance and status of thousands of components and consumables. The H-20 will more or less have a similar lineup of avionics, just the Chinese-made versions of them. The extent of how well they compare to or even surpass their American counterparts is left for the future to tell. Armament. Much like its predecessor, the B-21 will be capable of carrying over 30,000 pounds of armament, consisting of a variety of nuclear weapons
that's a lot.
like the B-61 variable yield nuclear gravity bomb and the long-range standoff nuclear cruise missile, along with a number of conventional weapons. Absorbing the ability of the B-1 Lancer, the B-21 would be able to launch Lockheed Martin's long-range anti-ship missile. It would also wield modern weapons, such as Boeing's GPS-guided Joint Direct Attack munition, which are designed to engage targets from the greatest distances. All of these would make the B-21 the ideal stealth aircraft to engage surface combatant ships in places like the South China Sea. According to the United States Department of Defense, the H-20 is expected to wield a minimum of 22,000 pounds of armament that enable China to reliably threaten U.S. targets as far away as Hawaii and beyond. It is important to note that not much is known about the exact details surrounding the H-20, as it remains a Chinese Air Force secret. However, on paper and timeline, the B-21 does have an edge over the Chinese bomber, and for that reason, the B-21 wants you to subscribe to this channel and give this video a like. Thanks for watching.
What do you think?
Well, I think you shouldn't mess with America first of all, because they've got like almost the best planes, fighter planes,
At the same time, there was not much information given about that. What was it? That H20.
The Chinese bomber, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was not much information given. So we
Exactly.
don't really know what's its capacity.
Exactly.
Or maybe they just want. Maybe they're just somebody call it a paper tiger. Maybe they really just want to project power, but really the thing doesn't exist.
Yeah. Could be.
Could be that. The other thing is fascinating is about the engineering and being that stealthy and able to carry that much payload, armaments like so many, and then at the same time,
Yeah.
what was the other one? Electronic, the avionics systems. It's pretty impressive. But the video stack is also kind of correct because it shows right like these things can be strategically placed in those countries, right? I mean, they can put this in Philippines, they can put this in Japan, they can put this around the whole of China.
Exactly. Yeah. That'll be really crazy to see as well.
Yeah, and then they can just whenever they need it, just like that, they just can go.
Yeah.
If it comes to an attack on China or whatever, things can get heated up as well. Because there is something called, I can't remember what was it, but there's another system because they got hypersonic and nuclear missiles right now.
China.
Yeah, and there was something called what was it, FOBs or something like that. I'm not sure of the thing. They can shoot it really fast. The nuclear missiles, low orbit.
How do you think they're going to counter this one though?
This is very hard to count. I mean, these things they have to come into close proximity, right? You can't just keep them just hanging around, right? It's maintenance cost
Yeah.
and all of that. You can't, and at the same time, you can't just keep them in the air. I don't know how many hours. There is no information, so I don't know how many hours it can stay in the air.
Yeah.
And they'll obviously have to refuel also.
Mm.
So the only way that they can have these planes in check is when they're in close countries. Maybe in Thailand or somewhere, they just have to place these planes there. So just in case, or maybe in one of those aircraft carriers. So that's the only
They
way.
have a lot of that as well.
Otherwise, they have to travel all the way from the US to hit China. Is impossible.
Yeah, that'll be difficult.
And but when this is space age stuff, right? That the Chinese got. But sometimes I feel it's nice to have all these innovations happening, but it comes to a point where sometimes it becomes obsolete also. One of the best planes out there,
Exactly.
still
Yeah, it is.
one of the best
It's
bombers.
really crazy.
Because the other one is the only thing. The other one is what? The TU, what was it? 160 or whatever the Russians have. And the Russians one is only supersonic. So
But that
that's
was like,
gone. That's-
when was that made?
that was like made in like 1970s or something in the Soviet Union time. Old age stuff.
Yeah, that's
And they have
crazy.
not improved themselves.
I think they should.
I think
really try to
the
do
US
this
is the only country like that has superior technology and always improving.
They have a lot of money to spend, so yeah.
Yeah, that's what's special about the US, right? It's more diverse, and you have so much of brains work in it.
Yeah, that's true.
Like which other country has that kind of stuff? All in all, I think this is one cool video.
It is a really cool video, really informative, and yeah, we enjoyed this quite well.
If you like, please subscribe.
Yeah, if you guys like this video, please subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Alright.